We're going to start with the NYPD presentation of colors by the Honor Guard and the singing of the national anthem by Kenneth Rivera, followed by an invocation by Father Carlos Lamanchi. If you please stand and remain standing.
Present. Oh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Order, home.
Good and gracious God, you're good and kind to your people. In your mercy, you call us to yourself so that we can be expressions of your love. You call us to serve you and share your generosity, compassion, and goodness with others. As we come together for this symposium of the Voices Center for Resilience, we ask, Lord, for your presence to be with us so that we may be guided by your helping hand to keep our families, communities, our cities, and our country safe and protected. Come to us, Lord, and stay with us so that we may better serve the people you entrusted to us. Bless our efforts and our endeavors, Lord, so that our desire for peace and well-being may come a reality with your grace. In helping and serving one another, may we always seek to give you glory forever and ever. Amen.
Let's give them a round of applause. Please be seated. Well, good morning, everybody. It's so good to see folks here today. And of course, we have a live stream going on. And it's a pleasure to welcome all of you to today's symposium. You know, I was looking at it. We have 27 states represented, as well as 10 countries. So the countries, UK, Norway, Germany, Argentina, Pakistan, Australia, Israel, Iceland, and of course our friends from Canada. So it's exciting to see. I think we were talking last night, Carolyn O'Hara's in the room. She actually came in from Australia, so that's a long commute, but thanks for being with us. So our theme today is bringing communities together. And by community, we mean not just the public sector, but also the NGOs and working seamlessly. And if we do it right today, our goal is to provide useful information you can take back and use in your day-to-day jobs. The collaboration continues. We're so proud of our relationship with LinCT, which of course is the Leadership in Counterterrorism Alumni Association, and INVICTM, which is the international network supporting victims of terror and mass violence. I mean, experts come together to seamlessly plan for and respond to mass violence incidents with a victim-centered approach, kind of looking at how we do things through the optics of a victim, and I think you'll hear that more and more today. And in addition to LinCT and INVICTM, our friends from NYPD SHIELD are always there to help us with whatever we need. Luis Montero and that whole crew are so helpful. I told him today that he is officially family with us. Today's agenda, I think you'll really enjoy. We've really worked hard at this. We've got, following me, my wife Mary, who of course runs Voices, Sue O'Sullivan from an INVICTM standpoint, and Rebecca Weiner from a NYPD Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence, but also is the president of LinCT, will speak. We're going to hear from Joe Pfeiffer, who's here as an author and retired FDNY, who was the first captain that led the department into the 9/11 response. We'll talk about preparing for large-scale events, the CT environment, of course, CT being counterterrorism environment today, perspectives, and AI in journalism. I mean, AI is all over the networks, and I think hearing a perspective of what that means for journalists, I think would be pretty special. Next, I want to thank our sponsors, and it's pretty simple. You know, doing an event like this in New York City at the Marriott is not the most cost-effective things to do. So our sponsors really have made a difference. If you'd hold your applause, a commemorative sponsor, that's the highest end sponsor. Turk and Heath and Macaulay, I mean, that's at a $50,000 level, so that's significant. Remembered sponsors, Motley Rice, Peregrine Technologies, 9/11 Day and their partnership with AmeriCorps, Rutgers New Brunswick, and Kreindler LLP. These are our top sponsors, our lead sponsors. If we can give them a round of applause. And our next sponsors are also very important. Our presenting sponsors, National Debt Relief, LinCT, Hexagon, Niche, RMS 365. Supporting sponsors, Barish and McGarry, Celebrite, Spicer Krause, and our friends of Voices, ASIS, Bodyguard, National Mass Violence Center, McCann Protective Services, Sadian Technologies, and Zencidity. If we'd give all of the sponsors a round of applause, I'd appreciate it. So I also want to introduce 9/11 Day again. This is our second year partnering with the folks at 9/11 Day. And I think if you may have heard of them over the years as a day of service. Our good friends David Payne and Jay Winnick lead this nonprofit. And what we're doing this year is assembling, I'm going to show one here. These are emergency preparedness kits, and they've got all kind of goodies in them. I have a list of some of them here, but I mean, everything you need in an event of a basic emergency: first aid kits, pillbox, light stick, sunscreen, a long list of things. We're going to have some fun with this like we did last year. We have a room set up across the hall where you can assemble a couple of them, take one home yourself, and then we'll distribute the others. It only takes a few minutes if you could do it at the break. We're going to take 250 of the 600 kits are going to the 9/11 Day program at the Intrepid. So they've got hundreds and hundreds of people over 2 days at the Intrepid with 9/11 Day. So please join in with that. Social media, help us spread the word. All of it, post, tweet, follow on LinkedIn, Facebook, or X. Other pieces of administrivia: silence your cell phones, restrooms right across the hallway. We're going to take a morning break and have ample time for lunch. We have a list of local restaurants at the desk where you signed in, or Bill's Burgers is located on the first floor. Security, remind you not to leave really important things in the room. We have had an incident or two over the years. And in the hallway, when you came in to register, you see that we have a lot set up for you to look at: artwork, different displays. We're also, last year we sold some of these note cards as well as these Building Bridges bracelets. So we have those out in the hallway that you might want to take a look at. And Sarah Green and Stephanie, these are the two, we got two quarterbacks here helping with things, so be sure to go to them. We have a whole set of volunteers helping us today. We want to make it as pleasant a day as possible. So now we'd like to move to a video. As you know, we have three areas that Voices is focused in: our social services programming, educational events like this symposium, and some of the training sessions that we've been doing. This video is called Voices Legacy of Support, and it describes this unique journey that not just Voices, but really all of us have been on, and you'll hear comments from people that will look familiar to you. So thanks again. Enjoy the video, and then Mary's going to come up after the video concludes.
On September 11, 2001, dawn emerged under a clear, brilliant blue sky. Within hours, the United States would suffer its darkest day. Known simply as 9/11, 2,977 men, women, and children were senselessly killed at the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and aboard Flight 93 that crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Channeling their grief into action, Mary Fetchet and the late Beverly Eckert established Voices of September 11. Drawing upon her professional background as a clinical social worker and first-hand experience as a mother of a victim, Mary recognized the challenges families faced in accessing information. Through Voices, she was committed to providing the support that families needed and deserved to help them heal and build resilience in their lives. As a victim's advocate, Mary became a subject matter expert in intelligence reform. Working alongside other families, she met with elected officials, held vigils and press conferences, and testified before Congress. Their advocacy efforts championed the establishment of the 9/11 Commission, which led to sweeping intelligence reforms to ensure a safer country. Social work practices and a commitment to providing continuity of care permeate Voices' work. The organization initiated a wide array of programs, including over 200,000 hours of social service support, hundreds of workshops, webinars, trainings, and symposiums. Voices pioneered weekly teleconference support groups that connected 9/11 families living around the world. Voices staff was integral in assisting thousands of responders and survivors suffering from 9/11 related illnesses, applying for medical and mental health treatment through the World Trade Center Health Program. The 9/11 Living Memorial Project was created to help families commemorate the 2,977 lives lost and document stories of survivors. Voices staff provided the emotional support they needed to select photographs and personal mementos to memorialize their loved ones in a meaningful way. Today, the Living Memorial is a core component in the In Memoriam exhibit at the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. Voices has become a trusted advocate and is honored to work with its partners to champion victims' services and victims' rights. Through long-standing public-private partnerships, Voices aligns with like-minded professionals and subject matter experts to help heal and build resilience in the lives of those impacted by tragedy. Built on the foundation of a victim-centered approach, Voices Center for Resilience shares lessons learned while providing long-term support for the 9/11 community. As an internationally recognized nonprofit, the organization works collaboratively to help communities prepare for, respond to, and recover from acts of mass violence. Voices' legacy lives on through its steadfast commitment to provide long-term support services, innovative programs, community preparedness training, and an ever-expanding digital resource library. Along with its national and international partners, Voices Center for Resilience strives to promote mental health care and wellness for all those impacted by tragedy in the United States and abroad.
Welcome, everyone, including those who are joining us today via live stream. My name is Mary Fetchet, and I'm the Executive Director of Voices Center for Resilience, formerly Voices of September 11th. And it's an honor to partner once again with Linked Alumni Association, INVICTM, and of course the NYPD Shield. But Linked, all of these organizations have a shared belief that through collaboration we're stronger together. The theme of this year's symposium is Building Resilient Communities, a commitment Voices made when we founded the organization 24 years ago. Our goals were ambitious. From the start, we implemented a victim-centered approach by providing continuity of care, support, and information. And back then, we were already talking about the circle of impact. Initially, we focused on the 2,977 families who actually lived in 93 countries. Over time, we expanded our outreach to the 90,000 responders and the 400,000 survivors, many who are now sick and dying of 9/11 related illness. We created the Living Memorial while a museum was being built and worked with families to ensure that their loved ones were remembered in a meaningful way. Today, the online memorial includes over 87,000 photographs that the families shared with us, and they're online. We found immediately after that information was critical. In our inaugural conference, I think back, was in 2002, we started providing this symposium. I think we called it an information forum back then, and we had all of the service providers from the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, quilters, artists, on and on. The medical examiner, the property clerk, were all here. And it was, especially the first anniversary, so many families were coming in from around the country and around the world. So we wanted to make sure that they were able to connect with one another, but also to connect with the organizations that were providing some kind of assistance. Our focus on preparedness began in 2002 when we were advocating for the establishment of the 9/11 Commission. Now, I was a social worker, not a politician, so that was all new to me. On 9/11, though, I was blindsided. I never imagined that our son Brad's life was at risk working in the World Trade Center. Nor did the threat of terrorism in the United States ever enter my mind. Our families had a moral authority, and we wanted to be sure our government was taking the necessary steps to ensure that our country was safe. I didn't want another mother to suffer the loss I suffered. Frank and I became involved with LinCT. We can't remember what year it was. I think it might have been 2006, but it was well over a decade ago. And we continue to be inspired by the dedication, collaboration, and seamless sharing of information to help communities prepare for and respond to the unthinkable. Led by Rebecca Weiner, LinCT, including her small job she has with the NYPD. She is president now of LinCT. But LinCT is a network of esteemed professionals who are dedicated to making the world safer, and we're proud to be affiliated with them. Like LinCT, INVICTM is an international network of trusted professionals who share their years of expertise. Sue O'Sullivan is a master weaver and driving force behind the network. As a former ombudsman in Canada with an extensive policing background, she has a passion for getting it right for victims. Those who know Sue, and there's a lot of you here in the room and maybe some listening online, we all benefit from her enthusiasm and no task is too great attitude. Tomorrow we're hosting our 24th conference right here, once again, at the downtown Marriott Hotel for 9/11 victims' families, responders, and survivors. And we will be joined by dozens of individuals who have dedicated their careers to supporting the 9/11 community on the myriad of issues that are still unresolved. Still today, individuals contact us for the first time asking for help. Voices long-standing relationships with organizations like the Medical Examiner, the Victims' Compensation Fund, the 9/11 Memorial and Museum, the World Trade Center Health Program, and the attorneys who are still fighting for the truth on who's responsible for the death of our loved ones. This really continuity and maintaining those relationships over the last 24 years has made us very unique in being able to connect people with resources. So I hope the symposium sheds light on the importance of collaboration to achieve our shared goal of building resilient communities, and highlights, especially to those who are watching online, the remarkable work of our panelists and so many of you that are right here sitting in the room, who work tirelessly every day to keeping our communities and our world a safer place. So now I will turn it over to my friend and colleague, Sue O'Sullivan.
Thanks, Mary. Mary, I think it was even earlier than 2006. We go back a long time. It is really an honor to be here, and on behalf of INVICTM, I welcome you all. To those that are watching virtually as well, I know we'll have a few INVICTM members there. So on behalf of, we're all going to use acronyms now, so it's INVICTM, the International Network Supporting Victims of Terrorism and Mass Violence, Leadership and Counterterrorism Alumni Association, LinCT-AA. So you've now gotten the version, including online, you'll know what that means. So I'd like to welcome you. It's an honor to join you. This is the 24th anniversary, or 24th Symposium for Voices, and it marks the third year that INVICTM has partnered with Voices and LinCT-AA in this important event. So we continue to build on Voices' longstanding commitment to supporting victims and families, first responders, and all those impacted by terrorism. I have the privilege, as Mary said, of being the chair of INVICTM, which was created to bring together a group of trusted experts dedicated to improving support for victims of terrorism and mass violence. The strength of INVICTM lies in our ability to share lessons learned, leverage the knowledge and expertise of our own members and their networks, and influence change and turn research into action within our own countries and globally. We know that strong international relationships are essential to achieving our goals. I describe the members, as Mary said, I describe the members of our INVICTM team as weavers, connecting dedicated individuals from across the globe who share this passion for supporting victims and advancing positive change. And together, we are developing frameworks for meaningful change, for each of us plays a vital role in this effort, contributing to the international tapestry that makes our work more resilient and more effective. So the theme this year is building resilient communities. And resilience is not built in the aftermath of tragedy, it begins long before. It is rooted in the relationships that we build and the trust that we nurture and the preparedness to commit to together, that we commit to together. When governments, private industry, nonprofits, academia, first responders, and most importantly, victims, survivors, family, and those impacted by terrorism come together, we weave a fabric of strength that no single sector can achieve alone. And I use this line because it's so true. And I look around this room, okay, Maureen, I'm looking at you, I have to have a Canadian moment. Our national lead there with Maureen Beznicki. We've been together a long time too, Maureen. I use this statement because victims are partners and families. When I say victims, I include family members, survivors, all those impacted first responders. They are partners in public safety. And I think the best example I can use about the leadership and the voice of victims is this. It's 9/11. And I couldn't have asked for a better setup with your video, Mary. When you look at the work, and it does not even begin the hours and days that you spent in Congress and in your sunroom in your house, Frank, and what the amount of work you put into that. We had Governor Keane, the former chair of the 9/11 Commission here, I think it was a couple of years ago, and he made a statement. And he said this, he said that the 9/11 Commission would never happen if those families hadn't pushed for it. So if you want to put it bluntly, your families and the work that you did, Mary, and your team, and all the people involved, led to intelligence reform in the United States. I could use the same example in the UK. Those that are here from UK know Figan Murray. I just have to say her name and they know her. It took her 6 years. She lost her son, Martin, in the attacks at the Manchester Arena, and she fought for it, legislation, Martin's Law, and it just got passed this year. And that's the kind of commitment and the voice that they bring to move change. And to me, that's one of the most powerful voices. So when you think about victims and families and your own members, they are partners in public safety. And their voice needs to be at the table, not just at the time of tragedy, long before that tragedy, during the tragedy, and then when we think we have all the answers to what needs to go in place and recommendations, that they're involved in that. The other thing I talk about is I say that when you look at what the needs of victims are and families, it is a journey, and in many cases, it's a lifelong journey well beyond any legal process or any criminal process that takes place. And that's what Voices, you said it, Mary, you're one of the few organizations, I know Maureen with yours with Secured Canada, kind of organizations that have been around for this length of time are not common. And you're going to hear a little bit more about that in the session this afternoon. I have the privilege of moderating at the end of the day about the needs that continue on well past the actual tragedy itself. So resilient communities are those that place victims in the forefront, ensuring their rights are protected, their voices are heard, and their needs are met not only in the immediate response, but in the months and years to follow. Credit for the accomplishments made to date is a testament to the courage of the victims, the survivors and families, and first responders who have shared their journey, and we're going to hear about your journey shortly, share their journey with us, and their voices are the foundation of all the work that we do. I also want to acknowledge the many passionate and dedicated individuals, victim-serving agency, academics, stakeholder groups that are here with us today in person and virtually. Thank you for what you do every day to make a difference for so many. And I'd just like to, as we approach September 11th, we remember the many lives that were tragically lost and the incredible strength and courage shown by the survivors and their families. Let their voices and the voices that all of those advocating for positive change be heard. May their actions continue to inspire us and towards a safer, more secure future for all. And I would be remiss not to stand here and tell you that what a privilege it is, Mary. I want to thank you and Frank and the entire team here at Voices. It's been a privilege to continue to work with you as you move and push change forward. But also, those that know me will say this. This isn't just a symposium. You've been given a gift here today of 2 days. You've been given the gift of opportunity. If you leave here without an opportunity or something else that you want to take back to your own communities or do yourself or become involved in, that's what this is about. It's about opportunity to continue to be part of that change and that movement forward. And I thank you for the time to say these remarks. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. To add my voice to the choir of those welcoming you virtually and in person, this is an incredibly special conference, and I look forward to it every year. This is a week of remembrance. It's a week for us at the NYPD of certainly protecting the hallowed ground that is the World Trade Center site year after year. And we are now marking a generational shift. Most of the people who work for us were young, or some not even born yet, on 9/11. Their reasons for coming to this field are varied, but infrequently grounded in that day, which of course propelled so many of my generation into this line of work. But it is easy for those of us who spend our days contending with the evolution of the terrorism threat and protecting the cities that we all live in. It is easy for us to keep at arm's length the human impact of this work. It is sort of necessary in order for us to keep grappling with it, because it is horrible and it is very draining. And every year at this conference, thanks to Mary and Frank and Sue and all of these family members who I'm looking around the room and seeing, who we come back year after year and spend time talking to and with, we remember the humanity of what we do, why we do it, and how no matter how many cases are brought to prosecution, how many laws are changed, how many threats are followed, are mitigated, are contended with, the people who are at the center of all this work are what matters. And so the emotional opening that I think we all experience over the course of these 2 days is really important. It's important for the practitioners, it's important for the families, and you all have brought that culture together in a way that I can't imagine anybody else would have. Again, year after year, building and expanding this network. So I personally have a tremendous amount of gratitude to everyone who's involved in coming together every year for this annual rite of passage. And as we think about what it's going to mean next year, 25 years later, ever more important that we have the tree that is this community with its very deep roots and its branches that keep continuing to grow and bring in new understanding and, unfortunately, tragically, new victims who we have to continue to sustain. That will never change. and what we can continue to be comforted by is the solace that you all have built these tools to help us navigate these challenges that we know, unfortunately, we're going to continue to have. And over the next 2 days, for those who are new to the conference, you're going to have the opportunity to hear about the threat and its evolution, but to hear from the people who've been centrally involved. I am grateful to be here yet again, now, of course, in this new capacity as LinCT Alumni President for the year. And just a huge thank you to the LinCT Network as well, bringing in young practitioners, rising leaders in the field, and allowing us to spend real quality time, not just meeting each other, not just speaking at each other, but getting to know how we respectively operate in our different countries is an integral part of how we practice counterterrorism. Having the opportunity to speak with victims' families, to do this engagement, is an integral part of how we keep our communities safe. And all that comes out of it in terms of policy changes, laws, important advocacy is another incredibly important pillar of how we keep our communities safe. So this is vital. It is also an emotionally fraught couple of days, and really important that we get to navigate it together. So thank you for having us once again on behalf of NYPD Shield, on behalf of LinCT, the NYPD, and all of our friends in this room. We look forward to a sustaining couple of days together as usual. Thank you.